Well, success on installation. Here's the Fold-8 installed in my Gorilla tent. This tent is a 4x4. You saw the assembly process. It was really nothing more than adapting the international plug to a US plug. The disassembly process, that's a bit more involved. If you've got a 4x4 tent, as I do here, you probably will have to remove a few things. I wound up taking out a intake exhaust fan and a bunch of ducting because as you can see, in a 4x4, the fit is precise. No room on the sides or back for any malarkey or other extraneous equipment. So we're stripped down, the lights installed. I was a little intimidated by the wire contraptions. Didn't know how those worked or how I would get that set up, but because the directions really are not directions at all in terms of what comes in the box. However, they do provide a nice YouTube video, and once I looked at that, it explained everything, made it very clear. So I decided, well, I'm going to install it just the way they say. And this is basically what it looks like. I'm fairly pleased actually with their attachments. I do think they work well. They seem to be very secure. They were easy. I've been looking at this now though for a couple of days, and I don't think it quite meets my needs. I wouldn't want to lower, or at least have the ability to lower the light down more than it is now. This is now at the maximum amount of lowering that you can do because of the limitation of this particular vertical wire. In an 8, well, my tent is not quite 8, it's 7 feet by 10 inches. So that still puts me quite a ways off the floor. Granted, with the adjustable light intensity, you really have a very nice dimension there in terms of managing the light intensity without having to move the light physically. But still, I want a little more flexibility. So I'm probably going to rearrange the hanging situation, maybe using a combination of the wires and some traditional rope pulleys. But this is how it looks. And you can see if I raise the lip here of the tent, how there's a center connector that wides off down to each of the two side wings. Another thing I should point out, if I can do it with one hand while holding the camera here, is there is flexibility in being able to move the light rather, if you need to get in and do some work around the edges. You can, since it is a fold, by the way, you can first of all turn it on an angle, but then it does start to fold. I can do it with the other one too, but with one hand it's a little tricky. So this really provides plenty of room to be able to get in on either side of your light. You can do the same over on the other side. If you need to make any enhancements or modifications up into the ceiling of your tent, change how things are plugged in. So that fold ability, I think, adds a tremendous amount of flexibility, and I'm quite pleased with that. All right, well, I believe I'll call that a successful installation.